Hey traders, welcome back to another trade recap. So yesterday was a negative day and it was pretty tough. It was a pretty tough day. I had a lot of positions that went well at the beginning. Let's say it went to 4,000, 5,000, but then eventually just dropped all the way back. So I'll show all of you my P&L yesterday. I took 3 to 4 positions and closed out for about $697 loss. As you all can see, you can actually see that I shorted pound yen, went a little bit too aggressive, lost about $4,300 on that one. Then I made it back another 3.6k at the end of the day. And yeah, let's go into the chart. So yesterday I was discussing this with our trade club. I say I wanted to short pound yen. Pound yen was the most interesting pair for me to go short because first thing first, overall structure turned bearish. We have price faking out the high at 188.20. If we drop down to the 1 hour, see how price fake out that high, and that's what we call a TPF formation on the inside our community. Is one of the very high quality strategy that I teach within our trade club. So long story short, then after seeing price forming an official lower high lower low, some of them took sell from there all the way down, including myself as well. Then yesterday I was expecting some follow through, but unfortunately we get in a little bit too early. Price turns out doing a much deeper retracement and drop all the way down. So if you put on a replay, you can pretty much see why am I looking to short around that 187.13 level. It was because price have that significant break under the 187.13. That's why I was pretty much expecting a clear sell all the way down into 186.40. Risk reward wise, we're looking for a 124 stop loss about 18 pips. One thing could have been done better was actually just be quick to realize that maybe this is not working as smooth as I thought, because when I shorted this position, it was based on a limit order. I want all of you to understand this. There are a few different types of entries that I'm looking to take. First one is what I call aggressive entry. Second one is what I teach and call conservative entry. Aggressive entry are basically limit orders. It doesn't mean that the order itself is aggressive. It's because when you're utilizing limit orders, you are disregarding the price behavior around your entry level. If you don't get what I mean, I'll explain it again. When you're using a limit order, you basically are just being price sensitive. You want to get it at a specific price. You don't care about how price do, whether if we got one big candle smashing up, you get stopped out immediately, or price just tap your entry and reverse down, or price missed out your entry and reverse all the way down, whatever. So decided to use a limit order on this kind of simple break and retest setup. This kind of clear break, retest, pullback trade are just setups that I always use limit order because it's easy, takes off a lot of pressure on your shoulder. I was being very price sensitive on this one, and yeah, it went well at the beginning and it actually ran for about 1.6 R at one point, but it just stopped running. It just stopped running and then it just reversed all the way up, and that was an aggressive 15 minute candle as well. I got stopped out within 15 minutes. I thought that if price was really failing, we might come back down, reacting here and really reverse up. In that way, I'll be looking to close my position with small profit or break even the trade. But this one was very aggressive. I was not quick enough to react to that and I got stopped out. But I want all of you to see there's always something to learn, even when it's a losses, right? It doesn't mean that, oh, it's a losses, which means we are doing the wrong thing. No, because price eventually still dropped all the way down. If you look at the 30 minute, what it did was it sort of fake out that London high at 187.27 here, and then on the New York session, we just found high of the day at 187.47, dropped down, going back for a retest at 187.13, which was my initial entry level. See that? My initial entry level. Then it just dropped all the way down right now. If I was awake, I definitely would have shorted this entry at 187.14, but mainly because it was, if you look at the time below, it was 3 a.m. Malaysia time, so that is impossible that I'll be able to capitalize on this one. So first loss of the day. After losing that, I jumped onto pound dollar. So pound dollar overall, I'm expecting some short-term reversal as well. So this was also another trade that I could have managed it a lot better. I took the short, if I put on the replay, based on again a simple TPF formation. Talked about it inside our community. Took my entry here based on limit order. I was expecting price maybe to run for about 1 to 3. It's not bad, right? It's not a big target, only 36 pips. But one thing that I mislooked, it was a bad performance day, was I neglected this minor structural area, because normally when I take a trade, I don't really pay too much attention to some of these minor structure because it's just insignificant, right? It's insignificant to the big players time frame. On the high time frame, you can't even see this kind of level. Then price really did dropped, and one thing that I had to do was, because if you look at Forex Factory, we got the prelim GDP at 9:30 yesterday, so I was sort of forced to close out the trade for a small for about a small half an hour, because one of my big principles, one of my big rules is I would never hold any position through major news event. If let's say if it's GDP, CPI, FOMC, employment rate, interest rate, cash rate, some of these big rate news are just things that I would not be participating. So a lot of you looking at this and say, hey Neo, if you hold your trade, wouldn't it be a 1 to 3? But the key thing is this, guys. Don't look at things from a P&L perspective. Look at things from a discipline perspective. When you're trading a larger capital, when you're trading six figures, 7 figures, capital protection is always in the first place. Yes, if I hold this trade, if I get lucky, I'll get a 3R, just like this. I get a 3R eventually. But what if the news went wrong and it just completely pushed all the way up and stops you out for a massive loss, let's say 5% loss, 4% loss. I've experienced it before where a massive runner for about 15,000 just reversed all the way to $8,000 loss within a split second, just like that. I remember it was gold. Within a few minutes, I got stopped out from a $15,000 floating because I was cocky with another $5,000 profit. It reversed all the way, so that $15,000 vanished and I got stopped out for $8,000 loss. My initial stop loss level was only 3,000, but I got gapped out very aggressively and it was NFP. So what I want all of you here to understand, some of you see this, you might say, hey, why don't you just stick to your initial target for about 3R, and that will make you easy $9,000, right? About $8,000 to $9,000. But I closed it out for about half an hour. Let me check my P&L. I closed it out for about half an hour, and that only gave me about 1.6k. But again, discipline comes first. So there's no regret on this one. Every time when I close a trade before news, it's quite fulfilling, because it basically means I am disregarding the P&L. I'm sticking to my plan. All right, the feeling is good. And let's have a look at EURAUD. EURAUD was the final trade that I took. I still had to cut it off because it was too late for about 0.7R. Initially, I wanted to take this all the way down for about 3R again, back to low 3R to 4R. But overall, yeah, I had to close the position early because it was, first thing, too late. Second thing, I realized that price was again bouncing off the EMAs on the 15-minute chart, the current time frame. The way that it dropped, bounced off that, if you look at the price action, bounced off the 50 EMA. I know very likely we're just going to consolidate for another night. So after seeing the price action, I pretty much knew what the market was trying to do. Again, another consolidation. That's why I say, hey, just call it a day. Right? Just call it a day. Closed it for about $2,000 profit, And yeah, and turns out it really did consolidate for an entire night. Right now it seems like it's dropping a little bit, but it really doesn't matter. All right, capital protection, mental capital protection, both are important things. I remember trading is not just, it's not just always about making money, because sometimes all of you, I remember some of you comment on my YouTube video and say, hey Neo, you always post your winner, you don't post your loser. But the fact is that sometimes when I post my winner, it is just an easy way for you to be able to identify why am I able to capture some of these high quality trade. When it comes to loser, normally there are a few errors, either if I overtrade a little bit, or I'm focusing on the wrong structure, or I am not in flow with the market. So I hope all of you really do appreciate all of these recap videos, because when I first started this YouTube channel, right, I was thinking about what's the best way to be able to provide free content at the same time not leaking out too much premium content out of the 1%ers trade club, because those are paid traders who are really passionate, who really want to learn, although it's not a significant amount, but those are people who really trusted me, trusted the community. So at the same time, to give back any of you who have been following me, subscribing me, supporting me on my YouTube channel since day one, I decided to do a series called Trade Recap. And trust me, recap is probably the best way that you can dig out what's in my mind, how I hunt those high quality setups, and how can you potentially try to learn from the way that I trade, how I'm able to achieve consistency, being able to be so disciplined and stick to all my plan. You see, even when I have a red day, even when the market's choppy, I'm only down about $600, but when I'm winning, it's always 10,000, 15,000, 20, 30, 40. Alright, I hope all of you really learned something new from this video. If you like the video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.